Cubans still remember it well. The days when the Soviet Union was a superpower, and Cuba's president Fidel Castro was more than just a friend and strategic ally. For decades, Cuba was also the pampered beneficiary of Soviet aid. Billions of rubles worth. Money that helped keep the wheels of Cuba's economy moving. Cuba has long been dependent on imported oil to generate most of its energy needs. But back in those days, money and energy seemed to be no object. Since the Spanish colonial days, sugar has been king in Cuba. And after the 1959 revolution, it became its only source of self-generated income. Under a preferential trade agreement with the Soviet Union, Cuba received a stable and inexpensive supply of oil by trading 1 ton of sugar for 4 tons of oil. And that wasn't all. The Soviet Union also began building an enormous nuclear energy plant in Juragua, in Cuba's Cienfuegos province. Upon completion, it was expected to generate 20% of the island's energy needs, a step towards one of Cuba's oldest dreams, to become as much as possible self-sufficient in energy. Then suddenly the bubble burst. Construction on the nuclear plant stopped, and Cuba's preferential trade deal collapsed in 1989, along with the Soviet Union. Cuba was forced to slash its oil imports from 13 million tons to less than half, 6 million. Unable to generate enough electricity, the island was literally plunged into darkness amid widespread power blackouts. That was more than a decade ago. Today, Cuba and its sugar industry are showing that necessity indeed is the mother of invention. To cut down on expensive oil imports, Cuba has started turning this sugarcane into the substitute of black gold. In Caimito in Havana province, the sugarcane is brought in from the fields to the sugar mill. Cane stalks are slowly introduced into the processing plant to squeeze out the sugar, leaving behind a brown straw-like residue called bagasse. The waste travels to the other end of the mill to end up here, the boiler room.
Most of the bagasse generated at this mill ends up here for the production of steam. I'd say about 80 to 90% of the bagasse.
For decades, Cuba used the waste of the cane stalks to fuel boilers and, through cogeneration, provide some of the electricity for the mill's operation. But that cogeneration system, which at this mill once relied exclusively on this 100-year-old steam-making engine, is inefficient and costly. The mill's sugar factory director says this is the last harvest for this model, which goes back to the start of the Industrial Revolution. So, out with the old and in with the new. A brand new 1.5 megawatt turbo generator installed this year, which uses the steam produced by the burning of the bagasse to generate enough energy to run the entire mill. Larger mills can generate up to 30 megawatts of electricity. All of them make sure they never run out of bagasse. Tons of the cane residue are kept in a storage area so that even when the mill is not running because of repairs or bad weather, the boiler room and the generator never stop. This system of generating energy from sugarcane residue is much more environmentally friendly than the burning of fossil fuel. It's also cheaper to operate, since the fuel is an on-site resource which costs nothing, and in fact can even generate a profit.
This year we're going to incorporate another turbo generator so we can produce and sell energy to the national network as well.
Already some of the energy produced at the plant is being used to power the homes of the local community, of the people who actually work in the mill. Nothing is wasted.